Sorry about that. Hey guys, good to have you with us tonight. We had a staff meeting this morning here at today's Sports Report, brought to you by UGA Football News on Facebook and Instagram. We had a staff meeting this morning, and I'm sorry, I had to get sorry, and we decided that 1 week from today is the Georgia Alabama game in the national championship game. 1 week from today. And so we decided, we need to do a lot of work this week. I mean, this is kind of a big deal. We're 1 week away from the national championship game in Indianapolis. And so what we're going to do is between now and then, every evening, unless something else comes up, we're going to give a little update, the news of the day about the upcoming game. Now, a lot of the news of the day um, for the Georgia Alabama game is to be honest with you redundant. It's the news sites, the excuse me, podcast and things like that. They kind of run over old ground, and they keep running over old ground and repackage it and try to make it sound like it's new or something. But we're not going to do that. Every day, we're just going to take a moment. We have a wonderful staff around here, and they're going to look throughout the day for new news, not the old retreaded stuff, but the new news, so that we can talk about it as we anticipate the game between Georgia and Alabama. And so we're very much looking forward to that. Now, so we're going to take just a few moments here tonight, just to to look over some things about the upcoming game. If you want to jump in here and make a comment or something like that, you can do so in the comment section, and we'll give you some time on the air. Chris Adams says, "Go Dogs," and I agree. But the one thing, by the way, Atlanta Braves, see the connection? The G here, the A there. You know what the A did? The Braves did in the World Series. They won the World Series, right? The A won the World Series. Well, there's going to be a connection between the G and the A. The A won the World Series, the Braves, and the G is going to win the national championship. That's why we have the A hat on tonight. It's a little connection, you see. That's going to happen. We hope so. Anyway, by the way, next Monday I have jury duty. And, on the day of the national championship game, I have jury duty. And I'm a little concerned about that, to be honest with you, because I don't want to get stuck on a jury, and they say, well, let's stay late and, let's handle this case and let's do this thing, and let's get it over with. Let's get it over with, and then we can go home. And I have to stay there till like 9 o'clock. So I called the clerk of court office today and said, look, I have jury duty, but it's the day of the national championship game between Georgia and Alabama. And the folks who answered the phone at the clerk of court's office must be Alabama fans, because they said, and I quote, well, that is no excuse for not showing up for jury duty. Now, I think it's a pretty legitimate excuse. Yeah, that you don't want to get caught on a jury when, for the national championship game. But I am a good citizen. I am a good American citizen. I will do my civic duty. I will show up. Hey, Allison, good to have you with us tonight. Moose as well. But I will show up and I will do my civic duty, and I'll just hope and pray that we can get out of there in a timely manner. Because what we want to do here on today's sports report is we want to do really focus next Monday on the national championship game, as we did with the Orange Bowl that was just completed. We'll do a pregame show, halftime show, and then a postgame show as we celebrate a victory for the University of Georgia, we hope. So anyway, that's my problem, but we'll handle it. I hope you had a good Monday. Welcome to 2022, and I hope it's been a good year so far for you and your family. It's been a good year so far for Georgia Bulldog fans. By the way, Brock Bowers, our phenomenal tight end, All-American tight end, freshman player of the year nationally, freshman player of the year in the SEC and across the nation. You know, he tweaked a little something in the Orange Bowl against Michigan, but reports are coming out that he's okay, that it's fine. You know, it was awful hot down in Miami, and he got a little fatigued, and you know, they have to deal with the cramps and things like that. And so the good report is that Brock Bowers should be a-okay, 100% ready to go for the national championship game. By the way, you're on today's sports report brought to you by UGA Football News on Facebook and Instagram. And all this year, we have been sponsored by Southeast Mortgage, the official home loan lender of the Georgia Bulldogs. Now, when you get tired of where you're living and you say, you know, we need to find us another place to live, and you want to sell your home and buy another home, and you think, oh man, I got to go through all of that. And I've been there and done that. You know what it is if you've purchased a home or sold a home, or you know, it's a lot, boy, and you need good help. You need professional help, and I'm not just talking about a psychiatrist or something. You need like professional help when it comes to selling your home and getting wading through all of the paperwork and all the stuff you have to do. Well, Southeast Mortgage is the official home loan lender of the Georgia Bulldogs. And check them out. They're great folks. They're tuned in to you know, UGA football, but they're also tuned in to how to do their business. They're very professional. Southeast Mortgage, southeastmortgage.com/UGA. Check them out. And they're the official home loan lender of the Georgia Bulldogs. Well, let's say if you want to jump in here with something you want to say, you can do that. Just a quick recap on the Georgia win over Michigan. Final score 34-11. Total domination by the University of Georgia. You know, Kirby kind of called the dogs off, you know, pun intended, in the third quarter. It could have been a lot worse. Stetson Bennett, a great game, 20 of 30 for 313 yards, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. Kenny McIntosh, that halfback pass, you know, for a touchdown, super cool. Now that was super cool. No, it's not an Alabama hat. Now see, this is an Atlanta Braves hat. The Alabama A has a mullet. You know, it has a mullet. This is an Atlanta Braves hat. See, the Atlanta Braves won the World Series. The Georgia Bulldogs, see the G there? See the G there? The Georgia Bulldogs are going to do what the Atlanta Braves did, not win the World Series, but win the national championship. So see, when you see the A for Atlanta, it's different for the A for Alabama. Okay? You got it? The Alabama A's got a mullet. It's got a thing. You know, it's got a thing up there. But the Atlanta Braves, okay. Sid Stedman. Oh, very good. And let's see. Thank you very much. Actually, you know where I got this? I got this hat at the Braves store at Truist Park, at the Braves merchandise store. We were up there for some business meetings and happened to be close to the Braves, you know, Truist Park, and so we went over there, went in to the shop there, and they had it on sale. You know, kind of a cheapo. But anyway, I thought it was a nice hat, and it celebrated the Braves and Georgia. So see, there's a connection. Remember, Alabama A has a mullet. Okay, so there you go. Don Griffin, howdy, all dog fans, yes sir. Georgia beat Michigan 34-11. Excuse me. Bennett again had a great game. Kenny McIntosh throwing the touchdown. The halfback pass. Zamir White, 12 rushes, excuse me, for 54 yards. He averaged 4.5 yards a carry. Dejon Edwards, 4 carries, 38 yards. James Cook had 4 receptions, 112 yards. Brock Bowers, 5 receptions, 55 yards. Just a total domination of the Michigan Wolverines. They were outclassed, tremendously in the game. Yeah, you can go online and the Braves merchandise store has them, so you might can find it there. So anyway, Georgia winning over Michigan 34-11, and we're still celebrating that. Nolan Smith had a great game defensively. He had 5 tackles, 1 sack, and 1 tackle for a loss. N'Kobe Dean was a monster. He had a great game. N'Kobe did. Both my parents, and I'm from El Paso, Texas. Well, there you go, Sid. There you go, El Paso, Texas. Yep. You know, I tell people the only time I've ever left America is when I lived in Texas, because they think they're their own nation. I love Texas. I lived there in the Fort Worth area and had a great time in Texas. We love Texas, and the Longhorns had a pretty good recruiting year, by the way. Brock Bowers, he's a real keeper. You better believe that. He's a super duper keeper. Anyway, as we review the Georgia win over Michigan, 34-11. So there you go. We're 1 week away. We are 1 week away from the game. I can't even bring myself to wear a Braves hat. Okay, I get it. The A doesn't stand for Alabama. It stands for Atlanta. And the reason I'm wearing it, see the G? The Braves won the World Series, and the Georgia Bulldogs are going to win the national championship. So, okay. Yeah. Yes, absolutely. The UGA offensive and defensive lines were dominant. Aiden Hutchinson, the Heisman Trophy finalist, the edge rusher, kind of like linebacker kind of guy for Michigan, was held completely in check. Salyer did a great job on him. Hutchinson had only 1 tackle for a loss of one of the Georgia players behind the line. The offensive and defensive lines did absolutely great. And there you go. You win in the trenches in those games, and they did. Crescent City, Florida. Cool. Go Dogs. Michigan was overrated. Well, yeah, I think you could say that. Yes, it's cold. I'm in South Georgia, and so when we have winter in South Georgia, we have winter like one day. We'll have like really cold weather one day, and then the next 15 are going to be very nice and above temperature and that kind of thing. We had a winter day today. We didn't get the snow that a lot of people got, but we had a winter day today. But then we'll start warming up and that kind of thing. All I heard about was our running backs. Well, the running backs, Haskins and Corum, had a very good year, and they're good. They're good running backs. But Georgia's defense was just dominant. The defensive line handled, and Michigan's offensive line was voted the best offensive line in the nation. They got some kind of award as a unit for being the best offensive line in the nation, and the Georgia defensive line took care of them and handled them. And there you go. So Don's in Alabama. It's cold in Alabama. Yeah, it's cold around. Let's see, Alabama and Cincinnati. We'll go over that one again right quick. 27-6. Alabama beating the Cincinnati Bearcats. Ritter, 17 of 32 for 144 yards. Not really that great of a game. And to be honest with you, Bryce Young had an adequate game, but not really like a great game. He was 17 of 28, 181 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception. So he did not have the game that he did against Georgia. Brian Robinson, the running back for Alabama, was the man. Set a record for Alabama. The all-time record for Alabama in rushing yards in a bowl game. Brian Robinson Jr., 26 carries, 64 yards carrying the ball. Brian Robinson had a tremendous rushing game for Alabama. Trey Sanders had a pretty good game as well, rushing. Jamison Williams, pretty good receiving, 7 receptions, 62 yards. So there you go. So we recap those 2 games. The Cotton Bowl, in which Alabama beat Cincinnati, and then Georgia 34-11 over Michigan. So 1 week from today, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, it will be the national championship game. Georgia has lost to Alabama 7 straight times. The last time Georgia beat Alabama was in 2007. And Georgia now has lost to Alabama 7 straight times. In fact, 2007 was the first year that Nick Saban was the coach, the head coach of the University of Alabama. So it's time for payback. Now, let me give you some information about what we have now about the national championship game. It's on Monday, January 10th, 8 o'clock Eastern Time. Lucas Oil Stadium, Indianapolis, Indiana. Beautiful city. Indianapolis is a beautiful, beautiful city. It'll be on ESPN. Georgia at the moment is a 2-point favorite, which is kind of interesting. Georgia's lost to Alabama, just lost to Alabama 2 weeks ago. But, those who do this kind of thing are favoring Georgia, a 2-point favorite. You say, why is Georgia favored to beat Alabama? Why? Well, Alabama does have some injury situations that they're dealing with. Offensive lineman Darian Dalcourt is questionable for the game. John Mechie is out because of that knee situation that he has. And so Alabama's kind of nicked up. Georgia, on the other hand, is pretty much at full strength. Also, Georgia saw what Alabama could do, and so the odds makers are thinking that Kirby Smart and the coaching staff of the University of Georgia can come up with a better game plan to thwart Bryce Young and the Alabama offense. So Georgia now opened as a 3-point favorite. That line has dropped now to 2.5, a 2.5-point favorite. Well, hey, Miss Judy, how you doing? Netherland, Texas. Wonder how far that is from Fort Worth. Texas is a big state. In fact, when I lived in Fort Worth, I traveled one time for business from Fort Worth to Midland, Texas. And man, I didn't think we'd ever get there. Texas is a huge state, but love Texas. Yeah, I think Georgia is ready to roll. So here's what they're saying. Here's what the experts are saying. They're saying, okay, right now Georgia is a 2.5-point favorite, but as the days go by, the projection is that the line will even up, and eventually, perhaps, Alabama will eventually be a favorite. 5 hours from Fort Worth. Yeah, there you go. Well, thank you, Miss Judy, for jumping in here with us. So we're a week away. Pray that I'm not in jury duty. Okay. Now let me. I want to share something with you guys right quick. And we do this with permission of a wonderful website, SEC Shorts. And what this group does is these 2 guys had a corporate jobs, and they said, we want to do something different, and so they produced these short little vignettes, I guess you could say, or these little plays or programs. I mean, very short, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, on a weekly basis. That kind of takes on some SEC teams and themes and things like that. SEC Shorts. If you've never seen them, I think it's secshorts.com. And with their permission, and with the permission of Resident Bank, which is the promoter of the SEC Shorts, I wanted I wanted to play you their latest posting, and it's a picture of Georgia asking the other SEC teams how they can beat Alabama, and it's for me it's hilarious, and it's meant to be a lot of fun, and it is a lot of fun. SEC shorts. So I wanted to share that with you, with their permission, and here.
Okay, we all know the situation. I have a 7-game losing streak against Alabama. Now, everyone in this room has one thing in common. You've all beat them. So help me! Clemson, you blew them out in 2019. What do you have for me?
Well, you need a generational talent at quarterback.
Yep, right there.
Once in a lifetime talent.
I concur.
Talking about Bo Nix down there?
Too soon? We don't have that! We have a 5th-year senior former walk-on.
Ew.
Okay, look, you don't need generational talent at quarterback. You just need that one average player that has the best game of his life.
Preach! He did tear it up against Michigan in the semis.
Also, a huge home field crowd advantage is a must.
Critical.
Absolute must.
Everyone plays way over their heads at home.
Might be the most important element of this whole thing. So, where are you playing?
In a generic Midwestern neutral site, 9.5 hours away from our home stadium.
Okay,
You all know me. Know what I did back in 07? I'll tell you how to beat Bama, but it ain't gonna be pleasant. You wait to strike. Silent as the grave. You wait while he's trying to get his own recruits in place. Whole team in chaos during a coaching transition. Then when they least expect it, BAM! That's when you strike. Victory.
Literally none of that applies in this situation.
Yeah, he's had like 12 top 5 recruiting classes in a row.
Well, geez, look at the time. Well, better hit the road, beat that I-20 traffic. Does anyone actually have any helpful advice?
I mean, put somebody back on all kick attempts?
Hope they throw a pick 6 in the end zone?
kickoff returns for touchdowns always.
Then know
nice.
the rest?
Are you sure that you can't work out a home field advantage here?
No!
Okay.
Or just do the exact opposite of what you did in the SEC championship.
You know what? I don't need any of you, okay? Because we have an amazing defense, lights out skill players, and heart. And that's why Vegas has us favored by 3.
Wait, Alabama is the underdog?
Yeah, why? They're gonna use this as rat poison, aren't they? Yep. Well, great.
This episode of SEC Shorts is brought to you by Renaissance Bank, the bank that understands you. Learn more at renaissancebank.com.
I love it. I just absolutely love it. Those guys do such a great job. Again, it's SEC Shorts, and just a lot of fun. So and by the way, in one of the characters in the little vignette there had ULM on his shirt. That's the University of Louisiana and Monroe, and believe it or not, they beat Alabama in 2007, Nick Saban's first year as the head coach at the University of Alabama, and it was obviously a big upset. I think Alabama went 6-5 that year or something like that. But since then, it's been Katie bar the door for the University of Alabama. There you go. I hope so, George. I hope so. And, I can tell you that Georgia, obviously the staff and the players are really working hard. Now, it's kind of an interesting thing. Kirby Smart, I watched the SEC feed, the SEC network feed from ESPN, which had the Georgia announcers on it on DirecTV. It had the Georgia announcers announcing the game, and they had a camera on Kirby Smart the entire game. And he never stands still, obviously. He never stands still. But there were a couple of interesting things as the camera kind of focused on Kirby Smart during the game last Saturday against Michigan. One of them was at the end of the first half. Coach Smart really took off on Stetson Bennett. I mean, really. And of course, Georgia was way ahead, like what, 27-6 or something like that at halftime. And there's been some questions about that. And Coach Smart was simply upset with what he perceived as a lackadaisical attitude that Bennett and the offense had. And the offense will reflect the attitude of the quarterback that Bennett and the offense had at the end of the first half, just kind of like a lackadaisical attitude. Now, even though they're way ahead, and Coach Smart, the perception is that he said, "Look, we can't do that. We can't do that. We're going to play Alabama, and you got to be in every play." So that was kind of interesting. The other thing was at the end of the game. Normally in those situations, the players will get the Gatorade stuff and give the coach a Gatorade bath. I don't know when that started. I don't know when the first Gatorade bath was given to a head coach, but it's a thing now. Well, Kirby Smart perceived that was going to happen. That his players were planning on giving him a Gatorade bath in honor of the victory over Michigan in the Orange Bowl, and he was having none of it. And it wasn't because Kirby was didn't want to get drenched or anything like that. But what he said to his players was this. He said, "We've won the game, but we're not champions yet. And you're not going to give me a bath until we're the champions." And basically that was the communication. That he didn't want that. Now, Kirby Smart has what he calls a 24-hour rule. And the 24-hour rule is this. He lets his players enjoy a victory for 24 hours or commiserate over a loss for 24 hours. You got 24 hours after the game to enjoy it and, to bask in the glory of winning or maybe, decry losing. But he says after 24 hours, that's over with and you look to the next opponent. Apparently, with the victory over Michigan in the Orange Bowl, there was no 24-hour rule. They immediately, Kirby and his staff players immediately turned their attention to Alabama. So, no Gatorade bath, Coach Smart said, until, we beat Alabama. By the way, that is not an Alabama A. You can't really see the writing there, but it says Atlanta Braves. And the Alabama A has a mullet, has a little, squiggly thing coming down. This is an Atlanta Braves A. You say, well, why are you wearing your Atlanta Braves hat? See that, G? The Braves won the World Series. First time since 1994. The Atlanta Braves won the World Series. Like to have driven me crazy during the playoffs in the World Series. I'm a big Braves fan, and I was just, biting my fingernails and all that. Georgia has not won the national championship since 1980. The Braves set the mark, broke the Georgia curse, and the Bulldogs are going to follow and win the national championship, and that's my story, and I'm sticking with it. Here's an interesting thing. 30 different teams have won a national championship since 1978. None of those teams has an active drought longer than Georgia's. In other words, Georgia has the longest drought of teams that have won a national championship since 1978. Georgia won its last national championship in 1980. Since that time, they've had 16 top 10 finishes in the final AP poll, the most during that span of teams that have not won a title. So it's time for us to do it. When they went conservative, Michigan, yeah, that's true. That's true. Let's see. Stetson Bennett had an interesting comment about it. He said, look, I know how big this game is, but for me, Stetson Bennett said, for me, I'm just looking at it as another game. Now, we can read between the lines. Obviously, Stetson Bennett says, I know this is a big game. I know this is a huge game for our fan base. I know our, team, state, institution. Georgia fans are longing for another national championship. But he said, I'm not looking at myself as a savior to bring a national championship to the University of Georgia. I am concentrating on doing the best I can to win the game. Stetson Bennett is a cool cat, and he had a great game against Michigan. But he's had two average at best games against Alabama the last two games. He's going to get another shot 1 week from tonight. Let's see. Anything else in here? Our staff put together a lot of stuff. Stetson Bennett, by the way, is from Blackshear, Georgia. Yeah. Stetson had better stats against Alabama, 3 touchdowns, 340 yards. Yeah, that's true. He did. The interceptions were a little, worrisome. But Alabama, listen, it was not Stetson Bennett's fault that Georgia lost Alabama in the SEC championship game. That was a total team flop. Offense, defense, and everything else. Blackshear, Georgia, that's down in southeast Georgia. Yep. So, let's see. Joshua Singletary checking in from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Yep. How's Pittsburgh tonight? I bet you guys have snow. I bet Pittsburgh has snow tonight. I guess. I got a good friend that lives in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Final thing for tonight, something called the 538 Project. 538. Oh, I guess it's 538 projects. Anyway, 538, and I have no idea what that is. Some kind of odds kind of thing, Anyway, 538 is projecting the Georgia Bulldogs to win the national championship. Their model, they have like this computer model thing, and they run all these simulations, and they put all these different scenarios in there. Their model expects it to be a close game. 538 gives Georgia a 56% chance to win the national championship game. So, whatever that is, that's one of those, that's those things these days they have, all this computerized stuff. Well, listen, guys, that's about it. We've exhausted our information. Every night this week, if we have some new news to give you, we're going to give you new news, and we'll give you a chance to check in. We've had Pittsburgh and Florida and Alabama and Texas, and we have others that'll, that have been watching. We appreciate you guys joining us here, and check us out now, UGA Football News on Facebook and Instagram. Check it out. UGA Football News on Instagram has about 117,000 followers. It's outside, I guess, the official, sites for the University of Georgia. It's the largest, private site dedicated to UGA Football News there is. By the way, we have a great website as well, UGAFBnews.com. Check it out. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Check it out. Let's see. I'm from I know where Adele is. Absolutely. Just done some traveling up here. Oh, he's in. This is Joshua he's in Pittsburgh. And so he's from Adele doing some traveling. The snow was terrible in West Virginia. Well, there you go. Better them than us. In South Georgia, for those of you in South Georgia, when there's just the chance of snow, the mention of snow, we close down our schools, we clean out the grocery stores of milk and bread. I mean, and we don't know how to drive in the stuff. Now, we just don't, but we get by the best we can. All right, 1 week from today, go Dogs, go Dogs, go Dogs, go Dogs. That's what we're saying. God bless you guys. Hope you have a good night. Join us again tomorrow night. We'll try to have we'll keep our eye on the new news, and we'll share with you some new news about the game coming up, the big one, Georgia and Alabama in the national championship game. Until then, this is Chris Hall for today's Sports Report on UGA Football News on Facebook and Instagram. God bless you, and have a good night, and Go Dogs!